strong.
You don't get all like pro with me and shit, because we're far from pro here right now. All I can see is a ring. I can't even see you.
Now that some time has passed, Chris, do you wish you had came out sooner than you did?
That's a question that I do get asked quite a bit. I guess I do and I don't. I think I'm more curious as to what it would have been like if I came out sooner. But do I regret not coming out sooner? Probably no. But I am quite curious as to what it would have been like, coming out as a teenager. I would find it hard to see and believe that if I came out sooner, that the life that I live in now, the things that I have now, the happiness that I have now, it wouldn't be that way if I came out sooner. I love where I am in life today. I love everything that I have going on around me. I love the direction that my life's going in. I'm really, really thankful for it, and I would never ever wish that I didn't have that, or wish that things were different. Coming out earlier maybe would have helped me through life, or it maybe would have changed life. It's definitely interesting. I'm definitely curious as to what way things would have been, as a teenager, or in my early 20s, being out and open. Sort of curious and also a wee bit scared as to what it would have been like, but I don't have any regrets. I don't have any regrets about not coming out sooner. I'm just curious as to what it would have been like. When I came out, the time I came out, that was my time to come out. That's when I was ready to come out. That's when I was strong enough to come out and take whatever came with it. I couldn't see 19, 20-year-old me being strong enough to come out at all.
What's been the most special moment for you since coming out?
I have been really, I guess, lucky and really fortunate of opportunities that have come my way since coming out, and things that have happened. There's obviously going on to the MTV show and filming that was a pretty big deal and a fantastic experience. I guess the most special thing for me was probably me and my father becoming even closer than we already are, and that wasn't something that I thought was possible because we were tight enough as it is. Don't get me wrong, we both drive each other mad at times, but I never expected us to get closer through this, and the fact we have. And the whole process, I guess, and over the last 3 years, I always knew that he was an absolute remarkable father, but over the last 3-4 years he truly has gone above that. And when it comes to what a father should be and what a father should be like as a parent, he is an absolute role model, and that is, for me, has been the most special thing. What are you talking about hard dips for?
Yeah.
Not right enough, I don't have that.
Your brand Bear Strong and your public profile has grown a lot over the last 3 years. How has that felt for you?
Bear Strong has grown massively, and especially over the last year, and this year especially. It's grown, it's getting bigger, and that's amazing, because Bear Strong took a lot of work. Bear Strong is something I'm so proud of, but to be honest, it's probably in my whole life the one thing that I've put the most work into, and that is genuinely true. And people have seen what I've done in regards to my sport and what I've done with an open and inspired gym, and I have really put some serious graft into things before, but Bear Strong is something that I put more work into than anything I've ever done in my life, and had more setbacks, more knockbacks than I've had in anything else in my life, but I've just kept going and going, and now it has really, really taken off. My public profile as well definitely grew. I have grown a large follower base and fans, and a lot of people that I only get to talk to online and get to know online. There's so many people that I've got to actually meet at events and at gatherings, and even just traveling about. Sometimes people to recognise you. It's and there's no doubt about it. It's awesome. It feels awesome, and it's so so nice for people to admire you and respect you for what you do and to support you in what you do. And you know, our Bear Strong clothing range, which is our mental health range, you know, we use this. My sort of image for the clothing range is that I want Bear Strong to be everywhere in the world. I want it to walk around all the time. I want people to walk into a bar or people to walk into a group of people and them ask, what's Bear Strong? What does that mean on your shoulder, to bear the burden of others? And then, like that, they have to reply by telling my story. And then 2 people are talking about mental health. And that, for me, is far more effective than any mental health awareness brand that's out there. You know, that there's a brand where somebody's going to look at Bear Strong and look at the coach on the shoulders, and they're going to have to ask what it is. So that's my vision, that's my goal, that it'll be everywhere. And so far this year, like the clothing is flying out, you know, and I hope that continues. But it's amazing to have such a support, you know, such a team behind you that you do get. There's a lot of negativity that comes with having a larger public profile, and you know, there's a lot of haters out there, and there's, you know, I think recently, you know, in the media and recent events that took place, you know, it just shows that how difficult it could be facing haters and facing the shite you have to see on social media and stuff some of the times. But I'm pretty lucky that way, that, you know, mine's not as bad as what some people is. You know, I know some people are crippled with the hate and the stuff and the homophobia that they get. You know, you look at Rob Curdy, another openly gay strongman, and he is ridiculed with homophobia and hate online, and I just sort of wonder why, you know, like I don't seem to get it to that extent at all. You know, obviously I'm thankful for that there, like, you know, but I don't understand why Rob has to get it so hard. You know, obviously, like Rob's Instagram and stuff like that, you know, maybe some people feel that it's too in your face or too out and loud, but you know, but then at the same time, what he's achieved in sport, and what he's done in sport, you know, that in itself deserves enough respect for people should be able to leave him alone, let him be able to get on with things. But as I say, for me, I've been lucky that way, and any time there has been stuff came on the social media and that, or somebody's commented about me, I never even have to comment about it. People just seem to shut other people up for me. I'm so appreciative of that.
You've done a lot of interviews. What would you say is your favourite?
The thing about it is, I've loved so far all the interviews that I've done. You know, the most recent one, Attitude Magazine, was a brilliant piece. The Muscle and Fitness Flex magazine done an amazing piece with me. Told 2 different stories, but 2 brilliant stories. I guess the out of them all, the interview that I'd done with Pink News was a pretty big deal for Bear Strong. It gave Bear Strong a huge boost and give me a huge boost. So looking at it, I would probably say that out of them all, that's the one that I'm most thankful for. But I generally couldn't pick a favourite out of it, because every interview I've done, every article that's been wrote, every, you know, video interview that I've done, they've all been a different part of the story and told a different story and tried to help different areas. But the Pink News one is one that really give us a huge push forward, so I'm most thankful for that one more than anything.
Plus I was in that one too.
Yeah. Got the press your way in.
Wrecked your back.
Yeah?
Wrecked your back.
Back too, you bollocks. Sore. Killed me the rest of the day.
How has your personal life changed since coming out?
It's been different. I don't get that much hate for who I am. I don't publicly get that much, but I remember being sort of explained to me a while ago, like, you know, that homophobia isn't just isn't somebody calling somebody a word or attacking somebody. Homophobia is how you treat somebody as well. Something that even I was naive to. And you know, there's a lot of people who really do treat you differently. There's a lot of people who really do you can tell that they don't approve of who you are and what you're doing without them even having to say something. And I know that there's a lot of other communities that have to tackle the same things, where it's like indirect sort of homophobia, but nonetheless it's quite hurtful, And when I came out, I know I do a lot for the LGBT community. I know that it may seem that on my social medias and stuff like that I'm all about the LGBT community and pride, and that's because there's a lot of people I feel out there that I can help, that were in the situations that I was in, and that there's a lot of people that I can reach out to and support and inspire and motivate. It doesn't mean that me as a person every day I walk around dressed like a rainbow. You know what I mean? For me personally, it's been a huge boost in my confidence as a person. A huge boost in my self-belief and what I can achieve. It has strengthened me a lot more since coming out. It genuinely has made me a better person, a stronger person, a more motivated person. I'm somebody who believes in myself now and who loves myself in a far bigger way.
Do you look back and now think your sexuality played a part in your mental illness?
Looking back at it now, yeah, 100% it did. I guess even whenever I came out, I sort of denied that it did. But obviously, working so much in mental health over the past few years, I began to learn a lot more about myself as well as be able to help others. And it did play a huge part in my mental health and as to why it was so bad. And sort of the way that whenever I was bad with depression, a lot of it was caused by so much self-hate, and a lot of the self-hate was caused because of how I looked, how I felt about myself, and that was caused by a lot of that was caused by not being out and not being open and hiding myself and hiding who I was in a closet or whatever the hell you want to call it. I think that keeping that secret, and it is a secret, because it is the scariest of secrets. And there was times it's easy to look back now and think to yourself, God, there was so much stuff back then that was literally traumatizing. As a child, not being able to understand things and crying yourself to sleep with an absolute terrifying fear inside you that you were going to go to jail or you were going to go to hell, a genuine fear, a fear that you would relate to, that you just crash your car or something like that, that type of fear, going to sleep at night, and then going through secondary school and being scared to look at guys, or maybe you might get caught, or people might start talking, or just pure scared that anybody would even think that for a second, and experimenting in secret with other guys who were also in secret. One of the things now is I'm openly gay and everybody knows it. I really don't hear people talk negatively about gay people anymore, because obviously everybody knows the big gay sitting there and they're not going to start bad-mouthing them or bad-mouthing gay people. But before, prior to coming out, I had been sitting at tables and amongst them conversations all the time, where people slate gay people and they talk negatively about them, and some saying some really nasty things. And now I don't get that anymore, or I'm not in them conversations, because obviously if I was now, I wouldn't be long nailing somebody about it. But growing up, you were always in them conversations, and you're at school, you're playing sport, or you were socialising, you were always around them conversations. And it's weird because you're sitting amongst people who are sort of friends who are slating gay people and saying bad things about gay people, and you're sitting there knowing that you're gay, and basically this is what they're saying about you, and you're sitting right there. How could that not fuck somebody's life up? How could that not? How does somebody have, if you have that strength to go through that and come out of it without any mental health problems, and I take my hat off to you, like, but I personally didn't, and I would find it hard to see anybody who does have the strength, especially as a teenager, to go through that and to listen to that and be, you know, not be affected at the end of it. Fuck.
Wait, say that again.
Somebody sent me a video the other day of them eating a cucumber, like, and not really in a erotic way, like.
Oh.
And I was like, ugh. Like, I see when I hear people eating, I will want to punch them in the face. I can't stand it.
How is your mental health today?
Today, obviously, my mental health's in a lot better place. What I try to remind people is that, you know, mental health, in my mind, in my experience, I don't believe mental health's curable. I don't believe that mental health just disappears. I believe that you can learn to manage it, you can learn to improve it, and you can live a really happy and successful life without it seeming that there's any mental health problems there, or there's any depression there. But you take the foot off of the brake, you start to go back to bad habits, then it'll creep in, and it'll creep in fast. So all in all, it's good. I'd say it's good. I have loads of happiness around me. Like, don't get me wrong, I have loads of happiness around me. I have loads of amazing things happening around me. You know, the life around me is brilliant, but in my mind and what's happening in my mind, you know, I'd say it's good, and there's way more good days than there's bad days. Well, the bad days are most definitely still there, and they creep up on you, and you know, sometimes it just takes you a while to get back out of them again. But you know, now you're looking at 1 or 2 bad days instead of, you know, bad weeks and bad months. It's just literally 1 or 2 bad days.
How's your sport been over the last few years regarding your sexuality?
Whenever it actually came out, I didn't know what way it was going to go about. You know, I've obviously seen what happened with other sporting athletes and the sort of abuse that they get and the hate that they get. But I guess, you know, regards to the athletes, the actual guys who compete in strongman, there's just no issue, there's no difference, there's no problems. You know, we all, like, there's a bit of a laugh and there's a bit of a crack and a joke about it, and I love that. Like, the last time I went to the UK, I think the first time I went to the UK, everybody was a wee bit sceptical, you know, like a lot of people didn't know who it was and stuff. A lot of people didn't know how to take it, and I actually said to some of them, I was like, look, if you say something, if you say a joke or something like that, it's like, I'm not going to jump on the, you know, politically correct bandwagon and chew your back off for it. Like, you know, I'm a guy who's came from a sporting background, a rugby background, and lads take the piss out of lads, and you know, obviously, like everything, when you take the piss out of somebody, you know, there's borderlines, there's lines you don't cross, there's things you don't say. For me, you know, me being gay is the same. Like, you can have a joke, you can have a laugh with it, nothing wrong with that at all. So like, whenever people start to get comfortable enough to be able to do that, then that actually meant a lot. Do you know what I mean? Because you know then that nobody's worrying about. I hate people worrying about saying the wrong thing. You know, if somebody says the wrong thing around me, if somebody says something that's offensive, and they're like, sorry about that, Chris, it just slipped out. Fair enough, it happens. Happens to me sometimes. Like, you know, do you ever bang your toe off something and you wake up in the morning and the next thing something just flies out of your mouth and you're like, oh my god, like, did I literally just say that? Like, you know, you feel like going to confession. You know, we went to a show to watch a show over in, was it Northampton? Yeah, it was Northampton, the Ultimate Strongman show, and got stuck in an audience beside 2 guys that were Lithuanian, and like, so homophobic, it was unreal. You know, there is a lot of homophobia that's in fans of the sport, but as I say, literally 95% of people are supportive, who are lovely about it, who genuinely don't care that much, you know, either way. They just want to see you being a good athlete, being an entertainer, and an openly gay strongman isn't as thought of as much, sort of in the LGBT world, as much as another athlete would be, which is a common thing, I guess, that strongman isn't rated as sports like swimming, sports like football and rugby, Olympic sports and stuff like that. It's not fought as in many cases as being the same level, but for me that's quite frustrating because I see the profile that I have in my sport, the profile I have as a person, would probably be just as high as other gay athletes. And other gay athletes are getting a lot of recognition, are winning awards, are getting nominated for LGBT sport awards, are being presented in a much bigger way. And for me it's a bit frustrating because I feel that them athletes aren't giving anything back to the community, and that's why I don't particularly like that. For me, I represent my community when I compete. I obviously, make it very well known that I'm an openly gay strongman competitor. But I get a lot of support for the community because of that, like a lot of support from the community. It's one of my main focus for trying to give as much back to the community as I can and trying to help the community as much as I can, and people within the community, is because the community's given me help and support, both personally with Bear Strong and as a sporting athlete. So you just don't sort of fly that flag and not give back. And I can see a lot of sporting athletes that are doing that. I just personally think that you have to give back too. I think you have to give back at them. Like, that's not just about that. Like, as a businessman, I've always said, when you own a business in your local community, you should give back to your community as well. I've done that within the business. It's not all about take. Like, you have to give back as well.
What stage are you at in your relationship, and where do you see yourself in the next few years?
I'm very happy in a relationship at the moment, and I'm very happy to say that I'm getting married this year, which I'm super happy about. In the next 3 years, see, to be honest, I'm just trying to push as hard as I can each year to try and grow things. In the next 3 years, I literally just want to be bigger and better than it is now. To keep pushing to grow the Bear Strong brand, keep pushing my gym business, pushing my own profile. The next 3 years I'll almost for definitely be retired from strongman. I have a lot of goals, personal goals, sort of a lot of business goals and then personal goals. I just like to be settled down, nice house, pretty simple, sort of life. But definitely want to travel a bit more as well over the next 3 years. But this year is going to be a huge year, both personally and in business. There's amazing things coming along. I'm so excited for it. It's why that I've took time out this year from strongman. I'm still doing Ireland's Strongest Man. I'm still doing powerlifting competition in July. But that's going to be really it for this year. Because work-wise, there's a lot of big things that came along. Say I'm getting married, and there's just so many big opportunities happening this year that my concentration in the strongman will not be where I need it to be to go to other shows. Let's say Ireland's Strongest Man's in August, so I'm going to have time to get ready, get prepped, and compete in it. But to be honest, at the moment, I wouldn't say. I do believe that I could win Ireland's Strongest Man. I do believe that I can beat the guys that are here to beat. I 100% believe that. Hopefully I can get a good solid bit of work in for Ireland's. If I can't, it'll just have to be something that's put on to next year. I'll still be competing in it, but as I say, hand on my heart, I do believe I can win that show, like 100% do. And that's no disrespect to any other guys. There's some amazing athletes who compete in Ireland's Strongest Man, amazing athletes. But if I could get a good run at it, I do believe that I could still challenge. But this year is not a year for strongman. This year is a year for growing and developing my business and my work. It's a year for me personally to enjoy something that I wanted for all my life, and to make the most out of it. So 3 years time, we'll see what comes, but I can guarantee you 3 years time things are going to be pretty awesome.